a section within a song where all I could think of was the funky town. There was a.
That's where I thought.
Yeah, there was a verse.
And that's why they're the experts.
Yeah.
I think the track would be better without the vocal for me. Brutal, but I
It's listenable.
Okay.
listenable.
Listenable. That's high ranking.
That's the definition.
Oh.
For a moment, I felt like I was almost getting a goosebump from it. The production itself couldn't really complain. The overall.
So no
the
complaints, but
choice of
laughs.
sound. It's just the idea itself.
Welcome, viewers. Welcome, fans and listeners. So another week, another set of guests that we have on our episode. We're continuing on a theme of exploiting our friends to offer some new and fresh insights into this year's Eurovision. I guess last week we had a few guests that offered a perspective of casual viewers, so more likely to align with the public vote. This week we have two Eurovision experts who may offer insights into the jury vote.
Are we Eurovision experts or music experts?
Yes, thank you. A good correction. Not Eurovision experts.
You could see the shock on their faces when we said Eurovision experts. You're like, what?
Yes, music experts. So we have Ernie B, world-known DJ and producer with performances in
across
countries.
continents.
Across continents and countries and oceans and planets.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide, sure.
Yes, Mr. Worldwide himself. And then we have Lucas B, and the two Bs.
B&B. Last
B&B.
episode was TNT. And this one is B&B.
Nice.
Wow.
The trend.
It's almost as if we planned this. Lucas is our audio engineer and helps us with all things with audio and music related, and also has a lot of perspectives on music generally. So you may see some more technical jargon being used in this episode, a bit more expertise offered, which we don't normally do on this podcast. So
actual insight.
Yeah, an actual insight. So yes, bear with us. But I guess
bear with the pain of proper analysis.
To offer a bit of chaos in our usual fashion, we did offer some refreshments for our guests. So maybe
and me.
We'll maintain a fun and chaotic spirit of the podcast.
And we have a point to prove to make sure that we retain our...
Good point. So last year, these experts did guess the winner of Eurovision 2024 correctly. They both voted for Nemo from Switzerland to be the winner. And obviously, we know that turned out to be the case. So really looking forward to hearing your predictions this year, because I don't think it's such a clear-cut case, and there's lots to consider.
Maybe no spoilers. There is a very clear-cut case. You need to guess it right.
Yes. So the way we're going to run this episode, we have 10 songs. 7 of them are from the top 10 songs currently doing well in the odds. And 3 are red herrings, so not from the top 10. Maybe somewhere at the bottom, maybe somewhere in the middle. You don't know that. So if you correctly... We'll be interested to hear your top ranking, but I'll give you some bonus points if you also correctly guess the red herrings. So if you can predict which songs aren't doing so well in the odds. Cool. Did I forget anything? Did I miss anything? I think that's a reasonable coverage.
Let the show commence.
Yes, let's commence
Let the games.
expertise.
Bring it on.
Cool. I think, given that we are very Lithuanian-heavy podcast, I think we should start with Lithuania and set you off on the, familiar path.
We have Lithuania last year? Not sure.
We did.
Did we? Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
It wouldn't be our podcast if we didn't cover Lithuania. So, what are your views?
I think we started off very strong. I've heard it before. I've not listened it from like front to back, but I've heard excerpts of it. It's I think it's very surprising that this kind of a song was sent to Eurovision. Usually when there's
I'm sorry, you're not a Eurovision expert, are you?
well, yeah, but
comment what's
okay. But I feel
know.
like usually from what I've seen, that like the rock songs or the alternative songs, it's usually a little bit more kind of on the maybe poppy indie kind of a side, or it's a bit more casual friendly, let's say, because
it has like a very eerie feeling to it, right?
Yeah, because it's I would say for Eurovision, it's heavy, not just in terms of like rock music or like rock music, but also just the mood itself. It's very heavy, very heavy, very kind of depressive. And what's also interesting is that there's not a lot of lyrics in the song. Like they repeat the same pretty much. I think the first chorus or whatever, it just goes through the first verse. Sorry, it just keeps repeating the same line over and over and over again.
Yeah, but like the track itself keeps kind of evolving, like the way how the instrumental side of it keeps changing, and like the pre-chorus was kind of quite nice.
Yeah.
I liked. I was like, is it like coming to like the main chorus part, and then it kind of hit. The only thing for me was like, from my perspective, maybe because it was like a concert recording, I just really felt like the drums for me, the kick, it just wasn't slappy. I felt like just from the instrumental perspective, it just wasn't really. It would make you dance more. Could feel like it has a groove to like make you want to dance.
Okay.
Maybe
the bass
even,
line
but like
really nice.
Yeah. But I just felt like the drums were a bit, I don't know, flat.
It's also an interesting look. They kind of look either prisoner look or like a mental patient look.
That's exactly what Simona said last episode.
Not quite sure. I mean, I think it fits the song. I probably more like on the mental side, because it seems a bit like dark and depressive and this and that. But yeah, it's really hard to say, obviously, because we don't know the rest of the context. If there's not a lot of other kind of rock songs, it could actually place quite high, just because it may well be that protest vote, right? Because it's not
like very different than others, right?
Yeah.
But like,
so
do you
like a dark horse kind of?
But do you think for people that like we get the lyrics, right? But like for people who don't, and they will be listening to the track more on the perspective of, does this sound pleasant to my ears? Like kind of from harmonically speaking, like does it, is it going to be appealing to the foreign crowd? That's where most of the votes will coming through, right?
Yeah. I think the part towards the end where it kind of builds, and then drops back up with the tavo. I think that part is pretty easy. I mean, even if you don't understand what it is, it's just repeating the same word, and then it just keeps building. Like, I think that is quite easily acceptable. But yeah, I mean, I think it still musically even sounds good. Like, it definitely has What's interesting is that it has, I don't know, sometimes it's hard to like quantify, but some songs you sometimes listen and it's just like, you could just listen to any other song and you'd be like, yeah, whatever, it's just like a clone of this or whatever. It just doesn't have anything kind of unique. And this has a very unique sound and like a soul to it.
Okay.
So
very
I
dark,
feel,
broken soul.
Yeah. I mean, that's but I feel like they could. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up in like the top 10, but it's hard to say without the rest of
I'm not going to ask you to rank anything yet, but because you obviously haven't seen anything else.
And also we're biased, so it's hard to...
You're a bit biased as well, but what I'm hearing is you're kind of liking it, not necessarily...
Yeah. No, I definitely like it, yeah. Okay. The only annoying part for me with every time where there's a band in Eurovision, I know that because of the rules and that all the production and stuff, is that everyone except the vocalist, obviously, they're not like connected, so they're just miming. is usually...
You know what Catharsis said before in one of the interviews? They said that's their first acting experience.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because obviously everything then kind of feels a little bit on the vocalist, whereas in those, you know, performances live, whatever, it's just going as a band. Yeah.
I like it was interesting comment from Ernest about drums not feeling as much now I've noticed, but before that I've obviously...
And that's probably not going to change because, as Lucas said, they're kind of pretending it's not live music, so it's probably going to be as per recording, right?
I mean, the track is already, you know, like finished, mixed and mastered, so like, you know, they deemed that this is the final piece.
Changes, right?
They can do like changes.
Do they ever make significant changes?
They do actually, they do, but you have to submit it much earlier, like in March. So at this point, you wouldn't be able to make significant changes, but you were able to make quite big changes before, and some countries chose to do so or were told to do so.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Told to do so.
Yeah, there's some drama this year. Anyway, I'm gonna propose we move on so that we have enough time to cover other artists. We're gonna move on from one band to another, and we have Sweden, which is represented by a comedic trio called Kai. And they're bringing a bit of a sauna experience to Eurovision. So very excited to hear your views on this.
Right.
Or sauna experiences.
Yeah, or experiences from...
Wow. What a performance.
Also, what a vibe change. Went from Catharsis to this.
They're like, has this like Slavic?
I can see that comedy definitely came through this performance, but what do you think about it musically, I guess?
I think they're obviously playing on the comedy more than on the music, although even I obviously couldn't understand a single word, you know, given that we don't speak the language, but...
It's about the sauna.
Yeah, I don't know if it was clear, but
yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. But the bastu, I think anyone can just follow. So it's something. It's made catchy, and I think for Eurovision it works 100%.
It's like catchy, but like besides bastu, you don't really remember much else. Exactly. But I guess that's enough. So I feel like maybe people probably will be playing it.
Do you guys have like what is it about sauna, but is there like a lyrics breakdown, or is there something a bit more? Is it just sauna? Is it more about the
sauna?
It's just about sauna. If you feel bad, if you're something else, blah blah blah, you go to sauna, go to sauna. Okay. Basically, it's
so is bastu mean like bathe or something?
I think it's go, isn't it?
We spoke to we met a Swedish girl in
shout out to Rosie again. Keep on watching.
I can't remember because the name is Barabadu Bastu. I can't remember which word, but it's kind of sauna, but more kind of in the Swedish language. And then, but they still say sauna so that everybody understands.
Okay.
So like it's just different ways of like
encouraging people to go to sauna.
Yeah. I feel it's also sometimes you get like jokey songs just for the sake of it. In this case, it's a bit more like tongue-in-cheek. So obviously it's Sweden. Everyone knows that sauna is popular. They're kind of feels like a little bit tongue-in-cheek. They're kind of making fun maybe a little bit of themselves as well. And like, musically, I really didn't like it. Musically as a song, I wouldn't Catharsis. I would listen it as a song if it played whatever, on the radio,
would
for
not
example.
make it to your playlist.
Yeah. This, I wouldn't, but, as a joke song, yes, it's fine. I mean, it's pretty basic throughout the entire song. I don't think the rhythm or anything changed. It was just pretty static. Or on the floor, there was a little bit of the harmonica.
Yeah. That's like the Slavic element of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
What we feel like Slavic, but it's actually much more popular across Europe. Turns out Portugal likes it as well.
France as well.
We just associate it.
Yeah. This is how we brought. But it does have a bit of a, I don't know, the vibe has some kind of like nostalgic element to it to me, right?
It's very...
Or like, kind of feel like there will be a crowd that will resonate to it to some degree, but I'm not sure, maybe not entirely like our generation.
I feel like this is like exactly the music maybe late 90s or like early 2000s. You would hear maybe on the radios or whatever, where it's this, maybe on like Lietus radio or something like that, where it's kind of, they're trying to go maybe a little bit modern, but it's still kind of folky.
Yeah.
And I guess because
poppy.
they're making it, you know, as a joke song, it kind of works. But
yeah, but how far would it go without the video?
And the performance, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know, when they go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it does kind of rely a lot on that comedic effect.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you ranking it? Is it above Lithuania, below Lithuania, now that you've seen 2 performances?
So personally, I would rank it below Lithuania, but like in Eurovision context,
might do better.
Because it is quite catchy. I wouldn't be surprised that it will probably end up above Lithuania.
Okay. So for now, we're putting this as a first and Lithuania second out of 2, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you think?
We're early on, so we can shuffle it around.
Okay.
Because it's also, you know, Eurovision is like also for the viewers, right? For people at
100%.
home. So
it's really,
you know, people gonna watch it, and you know, that's our hot
listen
take
it on the radio. It's all gonna be about the spectacle.
And with Catharsis, like usually Eurovision is such a, you know, big event. Everyone's like happy and everyone's excited to watch it. And Catharsis, as much as I like the song, it's just like very kind of down, depressive experience. So maybe, you know, not a lot of people will resonate with it. Although, you know, who knows?
We'll see.
Oh, we know.
You know, we're experts.
Cool. Let's move on to another song. And again, we will be switching up the vibe slightly. So we'll go to Albania. And they're sending a duet called Shkodra Elektronike, and with the song Zjarm. Okay, so what are your views regarding Albania's performance?
I kind of liked it. I don't know, it had a good like groove to it, and especially when it like came in with the drums, and then you hear the orchestra in the background with like, I think it was like a violin. Really like violin.
Yeah.
Like had like a bit of a like modern feel to it, with the underlying groove, and then just like classical instruments. I don't know. It's just like for a moment I felt like I was almost getting a goosebump from it, and then I think her like dancing felt a bit of like the Wednesday dance, you know, from the series. I was like, oh, that's like an interesting vibe you're going here, and yeah, I don't know. Her voice I think worked quite well with it as well. It was a good voice, I thought. Yeah.
No, I really enjoy the folky elements, more like kind of the Balkan vibes, because there's, I think in the first kind of a section, there's I don't know what the instrument is called, like a string one that plays through, and then I think like on the second part there's like a drums that they introduced. That's quite cool. Obviously the synth, the bass line that where the dude is hitting that roll, and that's pretty cool. It feels like you feel the kind of the, you know, the power. I feel
like in the room you actually maybe would even feel their
vibration almost.
And the kick was so low and like quite thumpy, so like you like yes, a bit danceable, like not really quick, but like
it's like
it makes you nod and just like kind of pulsating, you know. Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, well, obviously it works, but the whole is there again. It's really hard when you don't understand the lyrics, what the song is about or whatever. But yeah, what is it
just
about?
The whole
fire,
the whole composition and the way that they look on stage is a bit weird. I don't know. Something is a bit off because that guy is just standing for half of the song, and then you have the orchestra, which obviously you can hear, but they're kind of. They're mixed in a way that they're a little bit more kind of in the background, and just it's more of a like a bed for the song. So they're not kind of the main element, but on the stage obviously they take up a lot of space. So it's a weird vibe. I really like the kind of the contrast from the woman singing, obviously really nice voice and whatever she's saying, and then the old fella comes in and
it throws you off.
Yeah. And the contrast.
Old fella.
I think his name is Kolle, or we really talked about this before.
Sounds like Kolle. But yeah, and just the way that he obviously kind of sings, it's more of a almost like just like reading poetry or something. It's less singing, and it's just more kind of just saying it out loud, and it feels like it has a little bit of like an ominous tone, and it kind of is building throughout, and then she takes over. There's a little bit of a breakdown, and then it goes into like the full like backup. So I think structurally it really worked. The
anticipation, kind of building up to it, and
because I think as soon as he starts kind of talking or whatever you want to call this, it kind of you feel the kind of tension building. So it's really nice play on the whole tension and release.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the performances that we really started enjoying after seeing it live. So as you said, like that kind of the beat, the drum kind of like really came through in the live performance. And so I only envy people who will be like watching Eurovision live, because I think it's just going to be stronger, obviously. And
the experience live is really, really good.
And especially if they manage to somehow do the whole staging. Now it just looked a little bit kind of messy and all over the place. I think if they tighten it up somehow, and also, is there a limit of how many people can be in?
So the orchestra is not going to be the limit is 6.
Oh, it's just going to be them on the final thing.
They might have
because they had
dancers or something.
the whole, I think the whole string section with like the violins and stuff, but they also had, I think, like the backing vocal section separately.
Why you're looking at me? I have no clue.
you guys are the experts.
No, I can tell you it was 6 people that can be on the stage.
No. I mean, in the current.
So they might have like backing vocals on stage. It may be like a bit pre-recorded, or they might bring like dancers, or it may just be them two on stage. We haven't seen the final kind of staging.
You see that in rehearsals and snippets from rehearsals before the main show. I would like to also make a mention that the old fella, as you call it, when on the stage, he actually brought the whole DJ deck and everything, all the equipment, and he was there with that in the London Eurovision party. That was pretty cool.
Well, I'm curious, what was he?
So they also played this other song, which I think
was really good,
like 10 minutes or something, but it was like very electronic, very kind of experimental. And we all really enjoyed it, because usually when there's in those like pre-parties, when singers like come prepare their like songs that are not Eurovision songs, I'm a bit like,
did they come here for that?
Yeah, I didn't come here for that. But with that one, we were like, oh, we would actually go to their concert, like, because their music seems like really interesting. But yeah, good. So where are we placing Albania in the 3 that you have already seen?
I don't know. For me personally, I think I liked it so far most. For me, at least, would be the highest, like personally, in terms of Eurovision.
Oh, sorry, I rushed to like write first.
They're considering Eurovision part, because otherwise Sweden wouldn't have placed as high, maybe.
That's my mistake by calling them Eurovision experts. So now they're like thinking of like Eurovision.
Exactly. And now I have to, adopt the persona of a Eurovision person. I mean, what would...
Yeah, personally, I would probably still put it below Catharsis. I just enjoy that kind of a song more. But I think in the Eurovision context, it's probably for now maybe between Basto and Catharsis, or like in the middle.
Like between.
Second. Yeah, unfortunately.
I'm I feel like the previous, the catchy song might probably outperform it. I don't know.
Okay, so
also second? So are you saying Albania second after the sauna song, or first ahead of the sauna song?
In Eurovision context.
Yeah, probably the catchy one.
I think last year we did a little of shuffle around after.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah, this is not a definitive, right?
You hear more and keep changing.
Still want to put something on the list. Cool. Okay, after Albania, we're bringing it back home.
We're bringing
back what back?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm sorry.
this is what we call a brain fart.
Prosecco fart.
Yes. We're bringing it back home to the UK.
Okay.
So not sure if you heard the song before, given that we live in the UK, probably not. But yeah, so this is a band called, we had a run with bands and duos and not a single solo artist yet, but a band called Remember Monday and their song What the Hell Just Happened. It's going to be a music video for a change, so you're not going to see a live performance.
Okay.
The hell just happened. What the hell just happened?
This feels like Disney for adults. That was my first thought. Just kind of a bit of a musical, but obviously the message is,
relatable.
Yeah, very much so. And I don't know if they've talked about this or anything, but there seems to be, for me personally at least, very influenced by Queen.
That is mentioned a lot heavily in the comments.
Yeah, just because, I mean, you have the whole premise of kind of it being more of a musical / opera / musical theater, whatever, and then into a bit more of a rock song, and which is exactly what Queen did, right? They were told you
right. I remember Gerda saying, "I cannot hear it at all. Why we compare it with Queen all the time?"
Yeah.
No, that's have a resemblance.
For me, Queen is miles away from this.
No.
But I can understand the premise.
The style of it, right?
I agree 100%. Queen is on miles away, but the kind of the premise of where we're gonna make work the more of a musical and then into a bit of a kind of a poppy rock kind of a song. So yeah,
until you didn't say Queen, I kept thinking it sounds like kind of something, reminds me of something. Couldn't really figure out when you say Queen. Yeah, in some way, but I'm just not a fan of musicals myself or anything. So I don't know. I just like
nothing.
I just very, very shouty to me. I don't know. And also not there's no catchy element to it. Besides just, I know they said what the hell just happened so many times, but
what the hell just happened?
What did I just listen to? Yeah. How did they perform this on the stage? Because this was a music video that we saw. Because this has to work well on TV as well.
Yeah, so the performance that we saw, none of the official Eurovision staging is there.
Yeah,
right?
They haven't released any TV performance as such. We only saw it purely on stage or in this video.
Yeah, and but in terms of listening to it live, I think my reaction and some of the kind of Reddit comments were it maybe even sounds better live than in the video. Maybe it was kind of one of those performances where the song really comes to shine in kind of live environment.
Yeah. I would agree, because even those elements, like you said, were rocky, poppy parts and sort of changes, and it makes you a little bit almost dancey in a way when actually you are hearing it live. Whilst when you're just watching a video, it sort of doesn't bring you start, tapping along or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't feel dancey. Nothing. I didn't feel like tapping.
I think obviously vocally they're very good, and you can see that they're very comfortable in front of cameras as well, very kind of performative and exactly like you. Very performative. So I think they'll probably do very well on stage, but the song itself, I don't know.
There's not much even meaning in the lyrics.
I don't know if there's meaning in the lyrics. This is so relatable.
Gerda likes the song. Have you not noticed?
Let's put it this way. It's a very UK song.
Yeah. How can you not relate to the experience of Hangover? Everyone has been through it.
Yeah.
No, but the points that you mentioned about their presence on stage, the kind of the musical theater elements, they're all basically musical theater actors and singers. So I think
that makes sense.
It's very obvious from the song, but
my presenter charisma and everything very well on stage. So maybe we'll do well with the people watching it live, but
depends.
Maybe they'll find a way to do it on TV. But
I don't know have they released who is staging them?
It's one of the people who are
big in staging.
Big in staging. I don't know any of them.
Big staging people.
But I think people were, the general feeling was like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to do with
Because UK could do either very interesting, almost borderline, quite
edgy.
Like last year?
Yeah, like last year, versus complete disaster.
What was last year?
So
last year was Oli Alexander, and the staging was
really, really innovative. But I think people felt it was a bit too much in terms of it was shocked probably some of that parts of the population.
I remember the song now. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So where are we ranking the ladies?
I would put it in the end in either case. For me,
okay.
I would not.
I
would not be
both
listening to this.
personally and in the Eurovision context. I don't think it's
So
at least from everything that we've just listened so far. I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's like something like Eurovision songs they win because they do well on TV, but also it's because it's probably something that most people want to hear in their car probably, and maybe in the clubs, and I'm not sure.
And also it's UK, so
I mean,
they never score.
I mean,
we
did
Sam Ryder, second place.
Yeah,
guys.
But
short memories.
It was a good performance and really good vocals as well. So.
Yeah. Vocals were good, definitely, and I mean the production itself couldn't really complain. The overall
so no complaints.
Choice of sound, it's just the idea itself. You can have really good choice of sounds, good vocals, and but.
Just doesn't click, and that's it.
I don't know. I didn't get the emotion or whatever they were trying to try. Maybe there's a different crowd they resonate with.
Get the emotion of the song.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll get the emotion of the song.
Tomorrow you'll get it.
I'll listen to it tomorrow morning.
Right. We're moving on to another automatic qualifier, one of the big 5 nations, countries. And we move on to France, which are sending the artist Loan with the song Maman. Another live performance, and I will warn you that
is it a ballad again?
That's not what I wanted to warn you about. It was performed during the break of the Six Nations final, so it's a very grand atmosphere. Okay. So just to set a bit of context, the song is slightly longer than what's allowed in Eurovision, so the beginning will be probably cut and not performed on the Eurovision stage, but
especially the whole stadium part.
What is the limit on Eurovision songs? I didn't realize there was one. It's like a radio edit.
It's 3 minutes. Yeah, it can't be more than 3.
Six Nations fans were very happy with the performance.
That's not even a thing.
My fingers are not flexible enough. Anyway.
I think you're just doing a potato at this point.
It's a sweet potato of love.
Yeah.
Right. So France.
Very kind of epic, the big drums,
quite dramatic, keeps the tension with the violin,
and it keeps building and building and building into like the whole crescendo. Obviously, beautiful message from what I've understood from lyrics. It's about the mom, and now she's the mom, and
it's good that we left actually by accident subtitles.
The subtitles were there. Yeah, I was curious how accurate they are, but
they don't speak actually French.
Yeah, something about mom and stuff. I would say it's very typical French song. I feel like they tend to send these kinds of songs. Was it last year, the guy with the shirt that was blinking or whatever it was?
Yeah, it was a guy with the shirt.
Yeah, I felt similar vibes as well.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mon amour.
Yeah, sure. Mon amour. Yeah. We didn't rank him well last year. I think
we did. How did he do, by the way? But yeah, anyway.
That must be top 10 because he got loads from jury and loads from public actually.
Not in our top 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is a tough one. So the song itself, obviously vocally, she's very nice. The song itself is kind of okay-ish, but obviously the message, like, who can't relate to the message, right? About the mom, and like everyone has a mom, right?
But people don't listen with auto captions.
Guys,
True.
I have an idea of a video where I compare what Luca says and what Simona says, and we do like a mashup.
Side by side.
Side by side. Yeah.
It's
No, but
exactly the same.
it's a very, I would say, obviously it's probably very personal for her, but at the same time it's a very smart move, let's say, to have something like
Very
that.
calculated with French.
Yeah, well,
It's like relatable.
if you want to be
too.
on the cynical end, you could say, oh, yeah, that's what it is. Because I feel like in Eurovision in general, you get, like, you either get somebody who's a really good performer, a good song, and a good message, good song, and a good performer, and usually you have like 2 out of 3 of those, right? It's like you can't have all 3. I feel like last year it was actually when I think that's why Nemo won, because I think he won like
They
won very easily, like I think by and large, like by large amount, because the message was really good, obviously. Talking about themselves and the whole thing that they went through. The song was really good, and he was like vocally really. Sorry, they were really good
Yeah,
vocally.
we're trying.
Yeah. With all the opera.
But
stuff.
also, how many mom songs are out there?
True.
Okay, so how do you rank France?
Second from the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
Okay.
above UK.
Just above the UK.
Again, not something that would go on my own playlist. I'm not sure. I don't know how it will be overall, but I
think
feel like
France
it will.
does
Maybe
pretty
will
well.
make it somewhere into the
Yeah.
tops, but I don't think it will be like in the.
I mean, you only listen to
Runner-ups.
4 songs or 5?
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I guess what the other are, but
Yeah,
for
halfway
now,
Halfway through.
I think we're kind of sensing a general theme year on year.
Mhm.
French ballads not doing really well in our expert tops.
But I think they're doing quite okay in the.
They're doing very
overall.
okay.
But I think
Yeah.
France always does well. There's few countries that always do well, regardless of who they send.
There's
pretty
also a
much.
lot of French-speaking countries
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
voting, and
yeah.
in all fairness, like jury vote matters, and French countries or France sends really good,
singers.
vocalists,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you cannot deny that, and therefore they do well.
Indeed. Okay.
Right.
So I'm hoping that the next song will be more to your liking. Let's listen to Belgium. And Belgium are sending Red Sebastian with the song Strobe Lights. Not to set certain expectations.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, okay, let's go.
Okay, so reactions, electronic music fans?
Like has like this mainstreamy techno vibe to it, something you'd find on like Beatport probably, but I don't know. I think the track would be better without the vocal for me. Brutal, but I just, for me, was just very out of place.
It felt I don't know why. There was a little bit of nostalgia, and I'm trying to kind of pinpoint I think the chords, the trancey chord, like the trance gate chords. I think kind of like Tiesto or whatever, like the
Some kind of like 2000s.
yeah,
and late 90s.
yeah. The only thing, so yeah, musically, I like the chords. Like at the very beginning, there was a little bit of like it's filtered and it's kind of like a tease, and then he goes into it, and it just goes like the beat, and obviously he sings, and it's kind of building to the drop. So I like it's very electronic in the sense that, throughout the intro you kind of tease it a little bit, and then you kind of go into a verse.
Keep adding more anticipation.
Adding more, and then drop, and then kind of build up, the A side, B side, all of that. So that's pretty cool. The only thing I wasn't 100% sure about was at the end where he was going like the high note. Maybe I mean, obviously I'm not maybe classically musically trained, but it felt like maybe he's not quite hitting the notes. Like it's maybe he shouldn't be doing that. maybe it would be better without it. But again, maybe I just, I don't know. But it felt like I'm not sure about that specific note.
So in terms of the production of the track, you were kind of a fan, but maybe vocally didn't deliver.
Even vocally, it's obviously made a little more kind of poppy, like Ernie said, but like that at the very end, that kind of the high note where he goes into the crescendo.
Not necessary.
I think that maybe without it, it would have been
something else.
Don't go as high or just completely kind of lose it.
Maybe just let the track actually play, or could have added some synth line on top.
Yeah, because I think it's the last maybe like 15 or 20. Like we're not talking about like just not singing throughout the entire song.
I mean, Ernest was saying that.
I did, yeah. I could probably listen it without. I don't know. I didn't feel it.
I like the instrumental as well. Yeah. It's a little like with enough cheese, but it's also,
Yeah, so it has like that mainstream feel to it.
Yeah. It's listenable.
Okay.
Listenable.
That's a high ranking.
That's the definition.
This experts group.
Listenable.
Right. So where are we ranking it? What's the feel like?
For me, the vocal kind of ruined it, so I'm gonna put it.
Who do we have first currently? Basta,
Sweden,
right?
Yeah, the song.
Yeah. I would say maybe like so. Second, we have the
Albania,
Škoda.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
The electronic.
Yeah. For me, maybe just under Škoda, but could very well.
Felt like Ernest's opinion was completely opposite.
So Lucas, I'm writing their separate opinions. They don't need to.
I don't remember my list anymore.
It's the
same so far.
Oh.
So you have Sweden, Albania, then Lithuania, France, and UK.
Put it for the instrumental. I think I'd put it below Lithuania.
Okay, and for the
vocal. It's a whole thing.
No.
What's your final ranking?
That's with the vocal.
Fourth, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe just because I like the instrumental, but
so it's above France with the vocals.
Vocal just felt out of place to me, and like Luca said, maybe out of key, or maybe just couldn't carry the high pitched note trying to get to.
Okay. So third and fourth. Cool. Let's move on to another song. This time we're listening to Italy's performance, and they're sending Lucio Corsi with the song Volevo essere un duro. And will be a slightly different vibe again. Right. Italy, reactions, opinions?
I actually liked it.
Okay. You look surprised.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. It feels like
felt similar, like kind of had like
for me it felt like those sort of very, very kind of mellow sort of rocks, like maybe early, not necessarily early, like 80s or whatever, but like what came to mind was like Phil Collins, Genesis, that kind of a vibe where it's like kind of a rock, but it's a bit more mellow and stuff. The only thing that really freaked me out is the makeup. Like he looks like a corpse. I don't know whether it's because of the song. Like I used to listen to metal, like, where they do corpse paint and stuff, but this is just.
I think it's going for that glam rock effect with the makeup. Not necessarily has.
Okay,
I'm not necessarily speaking about the song, but I think the makeup is kind of going towards.
He looks like when Frank got makeup done from Always Sunny.
We'll put the picture here.
Yeah,
the mortician one.
Yeah. I'm like, that's just. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's something to do with the message because you've disabled the subtitles. So
yeah, what happened to the? I kept waiting. I was thinking maybe it will come up now. And I was like, where are
We
the
are trying to
subtitles?
trick them so we
I feel
can.
like that was cheating because you already understood the message.
So I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with
does the makeup make sense or not? With the message.
On a TV performance, you will not have a subtitle.
Yeah, no, true. But
They should add
usually
it. Do it.
in the UK, was it Graham Norton or he usually explains about the song and what
Doesn't
it is,
always
so.
explain actual meaning, but sometimes just makes a mean joke or something.
Yeah.
But I think you know the meaning very well.
Yeah, the meaning is actually really, really beautiful. It's kind of about his way of accepting his kind of type of masculinity. So there's like a lot of references like, oh, I wanted to be like tough, like a thief, or like tough, like a fighter. But at the end of the day, I'm just Lucio. So it's kind of his way of like accepting, I'm
Who
not
he
this
is,
like
yeah.
macho man,
Mhm.
but I am who I am.
No.
So it's actually like we were talking about this, like it's a nice message. It doesn't necessarily come through in this particular performance because
And from the look either. I mean, come on, drop the corpse paint, Jesus.
Okay, but the message is definitely there. So
Yeah, I'm not sure I still understand the makeup part, even with the mess. The song sounded like beautiful. Like, the production was nice.
It sounded very
the selection.
crisp. Like you could every single instruments were kind of breathing. You had there was a lot of space. I really
like
enjoyed
the vocal dynamic
balance,
range was nice. The guitar.
Yeah, the cheesy guitar solo.
Yeah, but like still.
Again, the only part that I don't like that because they don't even play the instruments for obvious reasons and stuff. But
we also get delay on our headphones, so like you them doing stuff, or like you can see the lips moving, but then like everything's like lips moving, but
no need to reveal all of the issues, the technical issues that we have on this podcast. Okay?
No, I initially thought maybe this
Very
is what people actually see, but then I realized it's probably just us having the dodgy tech here in the studio.
In the studio.
Okay, so how are we ranking this in terms of the songs that you've listened to so far?
I'm actually gonna put this now above the red
Sebastian.
herring?
We didn't guess the red herrings yet. The red Sebastian, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you are placing it in third, right?
Yeah, and it's Italy, right?
Yeah.
I think Italy usually does quite well as well.
Italy definitely has automatic qualification,
Okay.
so they kind of
and sends quality songs.
And sends quality songs. So I guess you're not familiar with this, but they have this Sanremo festival. It's like this.
So in the background it said Sanremo or
5-day event. It's kind of the main music event in Italy. It's really prestigious. It's kind of as a side note. Once a singer wins it, they can choose to go to Eurovision.
Okay.
It's not Eurovision is not the main premise of the event. And actually, Lucio didn't win it this year. There was another performer who won, but he had like a fully booked tour. So then Lucio, as a second place winner, came in as the Eurovision delegate. But
so he was a second place runner-up.
But it's kind of a really big deal, Sanremo Festival.
And quite interestingly, in Sanremo Festival, we actually care about the lyrics quite a lot, and the song was really done really well on sort of a message. The lyrics just almost poetry sang as such.
No, really, like I said, I really enjoyed it. It's very kind of mellow, but also, it's hard to say, but it's quite mellow. So it might be like, whereas Lithuania on the on the, because currently I think from the songs that we've listened, they're probably the most, not similar, but in the sense that they're both kind of rock bands and like fully live bands.
Have a different mood.
Yeah. So this one is very kind of mellow and calm and kind of a happy song, but it's a little bit like, I want to say like backgroundy, but it can kind of merge a little bit in the background. It doesn't have that, power.
Grandiose,
whereas
doesn't like draw your attention as much, something I could, I guess, maybe would stop playing in my home and maybe I would notice it, maybe not.
Okay.
But
what did you think?
Not in a bad way or anything.
Yeah.
No, I said I think it was a beautiful song. You know,
Yeah,
we
where
obviously
does it
had
rank
no
for you?
idea what he was on about. You know, was questioning the
What
makeup
was
and
he on
thinking,
about?
well, questioning, you know, the makeup. I mean, you know, our artist choice. I would probably play. In my opinion, I think it would be maybe I would be more likely to listen to that, and maybe people will resonate more with the not resonate, but like the song. So I would probably place it above Lithuania.
Of Lithuania. So
What
third, yeah,
position
also
is that? Oh.
third.
So same.
Yeah.
Great minds.
Great
Yeah.
minds think alike.
Okay, cool. We're gonna move on to Finland now, and Finland selected a performer, Erika Wickman, with the song Ich komme. If you know German, it means I'm coming.
Right.
Maybe she's, coming to Eurovision, obviously. She is coming to Eurovision.
Oh.
Okay, so how do you feel about Erika's coming?
I think she came.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Indeed, good for her.
Yeah, good for her. It's an interesting song, in a sense that I couldn't quite put my finger onto like what.
Put your finger on what?
I know. Put my finger in. Anyway.
All right.
In what what they were trying to make is it kind of started off. I don't remember what song, but it kind of reminded me
of something, right?
Yeah,
I couldn't put my
maybe
finger
from
on
like
it.
Eurovision of. I think you liked the song with like something. I think they were like with hammers or whatever. Yeah.
Is it Iceland from like
could be
5 or 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Hatari.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
It kind of started off with that vibe, and then it very, very, very quickly went into this. I don't know, early kind of pop. There was even a section within the song where all I could think of was the funky town, the
That's where I thought.
Yeah, there was a verse.
And that's why they're the experts.
Yeah.
There was a verse where there's a specific synth line that plays, obviously not in the funky town like melody or whatever.
So doesn't sound like Funky Town, but you can hear it.
It does sound like funky town, but not playing the same chords or the same melody.
So that's why I couldn't tell.
Yeah, but
It just look, you can tell there's inspiration. I kept thinking now when you say it, now I hear it because I can feel like there's another song that I know.
Yeah, so then I felt okay. So maybe they're going for this kind of retro. It was.
Well,
kind
she
of
wants to have
whatever.
funky time.
Yeah, funky time, exactly. And then it kind of switched back again. So I wasn't quite sure. I think also again, similar to the sauna song, there was the motive that everyone can kind of, because I'm pretty sure it was throughout the song, regardless of which part it was, like ich komme in the background. So I think that's a thing that people can just easily sing and
catchy, and you could hear the video we watched. The crowd was also really vibing with it clearly.
Yeah,
and it's pretty catchy. And then obviously towards the end, it just goes, I guess, to mimic maybe
something that happens.
Yeah, something that
behind closed
happens.
doors.
Yeah. It keeps increasing in intensity, and then it explodes. So
literally with the fireworks from the microphone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she built
So,
anticipation, and I didn't realize like, whoa, she's on a micro. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
We might do well potentially. I don't know. Maybe, but I don't know if everyone. Yeah, like took me a while to kind of get the point or the reference of it. So I don't know if everyone will get. Maybe I'm just very clueless.
Personally, I mean, it's not necessarily something that I would listen, but again, in the Eurovision context, I'm actually gonna put it as the first one now.
Ooh.
So
That high,
sauna song.
really.
Yeah, I think
How
it's.
come?
because I think it's so. Sona song is very clearly a jokey song. This song for me is like, obviously it's also kind of a. If this one
Should it
like,
be a joke though?
no. It feels like this one is more like. I guess there's a very not a big difference, but this one is a like more tongue in cheek, and it's more like cheeky song to kind of. You can have multiple meanings or whatever.
You cannot tell. It's not like it's not in your face jokey song.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
it's a bit edgy,
pretending,
edgy for Eurovision, and I guess
it has all the the ich komme in the background for people to kind of latch on, and the rhythm is kind of danceable, fun. Whatever.
Yeah.
So
I guess I could hear that playing in a club as well, and people probably would lose their shit a little bit.
Vocally as well, it's a bit more demanding than the Sona song, right? So you could see some
probably relatable as well.
Ernest, what did you think? Like, where would you place? Or
I don't know. I'm not sure about the top one really.
No, you can disagree with Lucas. It's
allowed.
Yeah, it's allowed. Different opinions.
I mean, I can see it probably. I don't know. It's like this outlier for me. I would maybe put it somewhere. How many do we have already?
This is 8th song, so
I don't know. I would probably slot somewhere in the middle. Not probably put above Belgium.
Okay, so 5th.
Yeah, something like that. 5th, 4th, maybe. Do it 4.
So above Lithuania.
Yeah.
Okay.
It will probably do better.
Okay.
Maybe.
No, do 1st.
We'll see.
2, 1.
I don't know.
Okay, so we'll push down Lithuania, unfortunately, but
unfortunately, we're not biased.
Sure. Cool. So yeah, the 2 remaining songs. I'm going to introduce the next one. It's coming from Netherlands and performed by the artist Claude, and it's called C'est la vie. Okay. So yeah, let's listen to it. So, C'est la vie. How do you feel about the song?
Life is life.
Life is life.
That's probably a me problem, but whenever I hear a little bit of like a kind of a electronic poppy music and French language, Stromae straight away.
That's that's the reaction everyone has. So not a you problem.
From Wish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as good. Again, really hard to say. I couldn't quite understand the message, but it's life is life. So I guess just deal with it, and just kind of
from the video
don't get too down or whatever. Yeah.
But from the video, it like kept showing the grown-up guy, and then the child. So I felt like maybe he's singing about his childhood or something, and I was like trying to interpret.
Yeah.
Hard to tell what it was all about.
I like the video. The song is
felt like something could sound play in clubs. Probably they had like a little catchy element to it, right?
Yeah, but it's a bit bland. Like, I don't know if these are so obviously we have top 7 and 3 red herrings, but I feel like last Eurovision was stronger in terms of just uniqueness and the quality. This Eurovision seems a bit more on the kind of the traditional poppy. I don't know, uninspired sort of.
Okay.
Sound.
Maybe just top 10. You haven't seen that.
Maybe just top 10. I don't know, but so far at least.
Top 9 so far. Yeah. There's one more remaining.
Yeah, and also, it's just according to the book, it's not what might end up being.
Yeah, but I'm not. I mean, I wouldn't say like it's a bad song. So I think what I have so in my list, what do we have?
The beer kicking in.
No. So the first one is the Ich komme.
Yeah.
Then actually I'm gonna put this one as a third, I think.
Third. So
actually no, maybe
Albania?
let's Now that you reminded me. No, I'm gonna put it just below Albania. Actually.
So 4th.
Yeah, fourth.
So pushing down Italy.
Yeah. Well,
Actually, no.
Yeah, now it's becoming quite hard. Yeah, I think I'll need I'll need to redo my whole thing. But for now,
keep a scoreboard just so
I'm actually
next time.
Yeah. After the next song, I think I'm gonna redo the whole.
But for now, it's
thing.
fourth.
For now, let's put it in fourth.
How did Ernest feel about this?
It felt like something that might do well. Had a bit of a dance element. Maybe sounded a little bit generic as a track, right? But I don't know what it is with like songs that
La La La. Why does La 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 sound generic to you?
La 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 la. Well, there's so many songs, you could go la 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 la.
Yeah.
But
original.
It's something because like when I listen to music, I quite often don't really pay attention to lyrics. I don't know, just how maybe I grew up, so I don't like, I have to really, really focus my attention. And especially if I'm listening to something that is also in a language that I have no idea about. And all of a sudden a word comes out in a language I know. It's like, oh, English, what do you say? Oh, and I lost it again. It like kind of kept like, I would kind of get lost in it and then get pulled back in. And I kept losing and pulling me in. So maybe kind of interesting to use that. I think I sometimes like it in tracks.
Also, is it common for countries to send, like, so I know a lot of the countries will send their own native speaker, like native singer speakers, whatever. But then obviously the Netherlands song is in French. The Erica, she's that's not Germany, right?
Yeah, that was Finland. But Erica, it was only the chorus, the ikome part.
Everything
German.
else was Finnish.
Because obviously.
Oh, was it? I didn't realize. All right.
Then for Netherlands, I think that the French language comes through his background. I think he's half Dutch, half Congolese, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So that's where the...
Or like singing towards the childhood, something. That's what maybe it was in French, right?
But this year, French is big. Like there's loads of French, loads of songs that include French language.
Yeah, I think we were counting 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Some of them like just briefly, some of them like the full song. But
one of the like bigger ones in the 2000s in particular.
New trend.
Yeah. I think it's just.
Or is it aiming for a diaspora?
Mm-hmm.
No. Look at you, Eurovision expert.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm still
Ernest. Where are you ranking?
Can you remind me, like my?
So Sweden at the top, followed by Albania, Italy, Finland, Lithuania, Belgium, France, and UK.
I don't know. Tough one. Maybe we'll do more shuffling, but maybe put it above Italy. That would be what, 3?
Yeah.
Second? Third? Okay. Let's go for that for now.
Okay. And we have our final song. So
all right.
Maybe I left the best to be last, or maybe I left the worst to be last.
Who knows?
Who knows? We'll find out. So we have Austria, who are sending JJ with the song Wasted Love. Again, a bit of electronic influence, you'll see, but excited to hear your views. Right, so I saw some strong reactions towards the end. Eager to hear.
What not expecting,
I think
the drop and
very
going
unexpected.
into very.
I thought maybe I kind of spoiled it to you when I mentioned the electronic influences because I
was waiting. I was like, is there like what you on about?
Oh yeah, what is story was?
Yeah, what's interesting is that. So, yeah, I don't know. It kind of builds, but again, I don't know. It's
thing like arrangement, right, of the track.
Yeah, because it begins again. This is like a slower kind of a ballad opera, very influenced by opera. Austria,
very like
right?
kind of epic feel.
Yeah, it has a track. Very soundtrack. Like as the first, I think the first verse for me, it had like a very, very kind of a soundtrack vibe. You could, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a movie, maybe.
That was mentioned in the previous episode.
Could be, yeah.
Clearly not listening to my words.
That's good. They're not spoiling them.
Yeah, at least that.
Caught red-handed. Anyway, but yeah, very soundtracky. And then there was a second verse, I think, or maybe like a bridge. I don't remember exactly. But does anyone remember? I don't know, maybe
Funky Town again.
No. It was like 7-8 years ago. I don't know. I can't remember the artist, but there was a song called Sail.
Yes, Owl Nation.
Yes. Yeah.
Shout out to Leibniz.
Who is also not listening to this.
It had a very similar kind of had a very similar vibe throughout one of the verses, I think, in terms of how it sounded, and then it just kind of kept building. But the whole song, it felt very, very, very like a more of a soundtrack than a song. So I don't know, like you said, maybe James Bond or any other movie. And then the last part was actually quite interesting. And I feel like if the entire, I wonder whether that, what are the reasons? But if the entire song would have been kind of not as fast as the very, very end, because that's clearly like the crescendo, and that's, you probably want to still keep it at the very end. But if it was more kind of maybe a bit trancey and whatever throughout the song, because I feel like that would have had a bit more of an impact. But then I imagine people would kind of say it's similar to Nemo in a way. Because
people have been commenting,
because you have like the very opera
influence,
and then electronic music. So
maybe it was one of the reference tracks in a way,
Could have been, Maybe they decided to kind of go with this more.
Let's get a similar structure for a track and see if we can make something. I mean, it's pretty typical in music production, to take reference tracks. You don't copy the track itself, but you kind of analyze it for ideas. And I want to make a track that has a very similar arrangement to this, and maybe similar elements, but it's not the same thing.
I think it's very typical in Eurovision. You kind of have those influences the following year. And I think, so we showed you a few tracks already that had kind of electronic influences. They're not necessarily the same genre, but there's much more this year. I think like a lot of like Nemo had a big influence, I think, on this year's tracks, at least in my opinion. Not all of them are opera tracks, obviously, but.
But did you like it, Ernest, or what?
Like the whole track kind of like kept you. I don't know, like usually you kind of have, a bit of a like build-up anticipation. I felt like it was most of the time keeping you kind of there. And then obviously in the end, you just like really surprised you and just like hit you with that, I don't know, like trancey techno drop. And I was like,
opera drop.
It got even more like epic, I thought it's like, already sounds like, pretty epic, like a soundtrack. But it didn't really maybe feel like a song, like...
The soundtrack, right?
Like you're driving in a car and this comes on the radio.
Yeah,
I don't know.
How would you do the last part of a song live?
When somebody's singing that like extended note.
You mean the trancey part?
The trance, obviously the instrumental will just play in the background.
What do you mean?
His voice is also carrying through the whole.
He's technically singing at that time. How would you do that?
You personally, how would you?
I wouldn't. To begin with.
You would personally, but is it like technically possible to actually sing live that part with some kind of overlay of effect?
Post in Reddit, because there was a post in Reddit today, and I was like thinking about you.
I didn't post this, but I am still interested because I haven't seen it done, except for a video. But that
like
can
20
be
minutes, and he's like in the recorded version. He just like carries that note, and
20 seconds, not 20 minutes.
Yeah,
felt like it. Yeah, 20 seconds. But so yeah, the question is whether
can you do it on stage with your actual voice being part of it, or is it all recorded?
No, I think I'm not 100% sure. But I think there's some like the really good, especially like opera singers and stuff. There is
They
the
can really
modulation,
carry
yeah,
it.
the like the, I think it's tremolo, that they can control the, you know, the voice.
He showcases that when he sings live, but overall he can really control the voice.
Yeah. So, but I don't know whether it's necessarily for like the
To that level.
yeah.
Sorry.
Can we
Sorry,
cut this part
everybody.
out?
Jeez.
I mean, it sounded like a strong voice, and I mean, if he can actually do it live and there wasn't, you know, no editing. I mean, you know, I was listening, you know, was there like any like auto tune, or was it like pulled in? But you don't really
it wasn't
hear
tremolo.
it.
Yeah, it's vibrato. So you're kind of the voice, like you modulate the volume, so it goes up and down. But so I think it's definitely possible. Obviously, the studio version will probably sound better and cleaner, because, you know,
be
it's
like the best take. You know, we probably took, you know, 100 of them,
maybe even throughout the multiple takes, and it's all kind of going together with everything. But I'm sure that they understand that they're going to have to do this live, so you wouldn't put something that you can't.
The live performance that we saw, obviously he sings perfectly well throughout the whole song, but that last bit, he kind of just dances and
It doesn't sing.
He doesn't sing that very last
But
bit.
that was only in the party. So my question, why I'm asking, is that is he actually able to prepare something live?
Maybe he's
on
not showing it
stage.
in the party
Exactly.
to kind of protect his
Because
vocals.
if he did, that would be crazy good. But if he doesn't, that's sort of a bit of a letdown. Such.
I'm pretty sure this is kind of possible to do that, but
I mean, it's hard to say now. I don't remember like how long it was.
But it was
20 minutes.
minutes.
Yeah.
2 hours and a half.
Yeah. But like, I'm sure that it's possible to do it for a certain amount of time with somebody who's like a professional vocalist. It's especially somebody who can, like, you know, opera voice and stuff.
Yeah, it didn't sound like overly fake or anything, but yeah, I didn't actually realize that it was that long.
Because it kind of blends. It's
because you also listen. There's so much going on in the track, so you're listening a bit of this. Like your attention, you don't really get focused on one element as much. Like there's so much going on in the track.
Because it's really cool how how he's managed to kind of, including the producers and stuff, to modulate the voice in a way where it almost feels like more of a synth or something playing like in the background, and then you're like, oh no, that's his voice. So
it's always nice when you find a way to use the voice, you know, as a synth, whether that was actually his voice or was there some edit under the covers.
Okay, you're losing me now, guys. Too technical. Let's move on to the ranking.
Where would you place this?
Yeah, where would you place it? Do you want to do the full reshuffling now?
Oh, yeah.
Or are we just placing it and discussing the top separately?
Yeah, I mean...
It's like tough. I don't know. I feel like this track, it's like it has something that kind of maybe should make it do well, but at the same time it sounded, you know, you said they're like a soundtrack, but
at the same time I'm thinking it is a little bit like a soundtrack, meaning that I wouldn't necessarily listen to it like on, I don't know, Spotify or whatever, or a radio. But during Eurovision, when you're watching, because it has that a little bit of that factor where it's like it keeps you a little bit on your toes, because it keeps kind of evolving and changing throughout the song and building and building and building. I feel like a lot of people would actually, even maybe not like from our group, who are not fans or who haven't listened to the songs or anything, I feel like they would probably sit for the song, which is also, I think, a big thing in whether you're gonna kind of vote or not vote for it. So
it's definitely, I mean, because it's all
numbers in this discussion. Like, what's the number?
Place a number, and then you're gonna talk about your top, and you can calibrate.
Not that difficult.
Okay. I'm gonna actually, this one I'm gonna put above Albania.
Preferred.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. But I need to do major reshuffle.
We'll do reshuffle.
Yeah.
What's
Second.
the major reshuffle?
Come down with a reshuffle. Okay, what Ernest
do we
does.
have to agree like on a combined reshuffle or?
We can discuss that separately, but just do your vote for now.
It should do well. I feel
just tell me a number.
somewhere in the top 3 probably.
Okay, so
But,
that's 3 numbers. Let's narrow it down.
Yeah, pick one.
Gerda works with numbers, so somewhere here 3 numbers don't work, just one number.
1, 2, 3.
Place it 4, actually.
Doesn't even remember.
I thought a little bit more about it.
Top 3, 4.
That's why we don't trust when you say a couple of numbers.
Okay, so we are pushing Italy down again. Okay, so probably time to just recap what we saw, maybe change some individual rankings, and also agree your combined ranking and who's going to come on top. Because
Hopefully Erica.
well, Erica is one of the countries that is currently
One
on
of the
top.
contenders.
Yes.
On my top, definitely. Yeah.
Rare. Okay, so for the viewers, we had some intense offline discussions, which we're not gonna bore you with, but we finally have the official individual rankings and the combined ranking as well. So I'm gonna start with Lucas, who placed UK at the bottom, just edged out by Belgium in 9th place, Netherlands in 8th place, France in 7th, Lithuania in 6th, then the Swedish sauna experience in 5th, Albania in 4th, Austria in 3rd, Italy 2nd, and Erica is on top. Erica is on top.
Like I think she prefers.
Beautiful. These jokes never stop coming, just like Erica.
Hey!
Right, and then on Ernie's side, we again have UK at the bottom.
Unanimous decision.
Yes. Then we have France, Belgium, Lithuania, and Netherlands, followed by Austria in 5th, Italy in 4th, Sweden in 3rd, Finland in 2nd, and then you placed Albania as your top 1. And then for the combined list, so both agreed that UK is, definitely at the bottom of the list. So.
Yeah, I don't think we both see how it could do well.
No.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that one
Fair
was
enough.
easy to decide.
Fair enough. 0 points to UK.
Not 0 points. It's potentially 10.
Yes.
Wow.
Then you had Belgium in 9th, France in 8th, Netherlands in 7th. Yes. Lithuania in 6th. Right?
Just
That would be
because Lithuania, yes.
joint best result for Lithuania. Austria in 5th, Sweden in 4th, Italy in 3rd, Albania in 2nd, and you agreed that Erica should stay on top. So Finland is your joint winner.
Go, Erica.
Go, Erica.
Yeah.
We love Erica. Cool. Happy with the final ranking?
Yeah.
Any final comments on the ranking?
I feel like it was tough to decide.
Yeah. I kept waiting for something
Erica to
very for someone to come and be a clear winner.
Yeah. Felt like it wasn't like as obvious maybe as I feel like we came to the conclusions easier, but maybe also we're a bit biased, to the fact it was drum and bass, which we're both huge fans of.
No, but even like I think last year,
still.
the Netherlands, we talked about this off air, the Netherlands, the Croatia, a few other countries, they were quite good contenders. And I think it was easier to rank. And this is
difficult.
Yeah, this is difficult.
And the top is so different. Like all your positions are crazy different. The songs and stuff like that. It's interesting.
Well, that's good to know.
But I think Gerda mentioned that 3 of these songs, so 7 of the songs are actually in the top 10 of bookies. Obviously, that doesn't mean that we're going to end up top 10, but they are at the moment bet
favorites
to win. And 3 of them are red herring. So we wanted to ask, which ones do you think are red herring?
outside of top 10.
Yeah.
Well, look at the bottom three.
All right.
So do you actually think
Oh, look at
It
you.
won't be right because we had
No,
France
no,
as 7th,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Ah.
I think that's more our personal like biases or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Like if I had to guess, I would say UK is a red herring.
Yeah.
Belgium.
Okay. Do you agree on this?
It's just not France.
But it's
Probably
never
not.
It's never going to be France.
So what's not
And
France
I
then?
also would, unfortunately, even though I think we both placed them quite high, but I think Albania might be a red herring as well.
Okay. Do you agree on this?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, so red herrings UK, Belgium, and Albania.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get at least 2 out of 3.
Okay. I can tell you now whether you got them right.
Go on.
You got one right. So
Ah.
UK was a red herring.
Okay.
UK is, I'll tell you where they are.
It's not far away from top 10 though.
Sorry,
How are
technical
they-
difficulties.
How are they ranking?
It's who is betting
yeah.
basically for them to win, generally speaking.
So UK is 13th in the odds.
Yeah.
Actually, out of the 3 red herrings, it's the highest placed.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
The other red herrings were Italy. It's
Wow.
15th.
Okay.
And you'll be surprised to know Lithuania
No.
is 23rd in the odds.
23rd.
Yeah.
Our bias has come through,
yeah.
man. I
I
think
mean,
it's just the bias.
It's just the
I'm
odds in all fairness. And
We
sometimes
do-
sorry,
cookies
not
are...
sorry. I mean,
Yeah.
I still believe in Lithuania. Like,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go,
Go
catharsis.
And I will also just list out the top 3 per the odds.
Okay.
So that you can see whether you were at least close in your top 3 or not. So as of the time when I checked the odds, number 3 was France. So... But
Not exactly the 7th.
I don't think that was a surprise, right?
Yeah,
like you knew that France is
yeah.
probably higher than where you placed it, right?
Okay.
Second was Austria with the
Okay.
opera rave.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not too far.
It was like maybe
You're
4th or
fifth or-
5th.
Fifth, fourth? No?
Austria
Top
was 5th, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the number 1 in the odds is Sweden with Sauna. So,
Bastu, bastu.
All
Dun,
right.
dun, 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 dun.
So where is Erica?
well,
Next
she's
week.
not on top, I'll give you that. Erica is currently
maybe?
7th.
Oh, 7 now.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's still top 10, obviously.
For a while, Erica was the first. For a while, Erica was the first in our top as well. I think we were big fans of Erica. So yeah, I don't think it's a.
Was she in the
Eurovision party.
London? Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
Was her performance?
The performance,
why the change? Were there new songs?
Yeah, there
no,
were new songs.
some
Oh,
other
okay.
songs really, like Albania, for example, things that you spoke here really shown for us in London Eurovision party, and we really ranked Albania much higher, and therefore re-ranked some of our other songs. With Finland, some of us felt like that the performance wasn't as strong, like you would expect the whole like "Ikome" to come through really like strong with everybody
The
singing,
crowd
with
shouting,
her
right?
really singing well. But it didn't feel this way, and her sort of vocal performance didn't feel as strong as her performance that you saw here. So on the basis of performance here, we jointly sort of ended up agreeing that she's first, and she dropped to second after the London Eurovision party, just because we were a bit not 100% sure on live performance. Although some people commented that she had some technical difficulties in the London Eurovision party.
Okay.
That was one of her fan comments. So
The microphone not working.
But for example, Sweden very clearly had so much support in the London Eurovision pre-party. Everybody was singing, enjoying themselves, and yeah.
I think we said that it's like a very catchy song. I just don't like the precedent of joke songs being in a. It's like.
Not something you listen normally, you know.
Exactly.
Maybe
It's-
like in a
it's-
party as a joke, you will put it
There was
on. But
was it Weird Al? I think.
Yeah.
Where he
Mhm.
redid
the
a lot
turkey
of-
thingy.
No. Like a famous parody singer where he redid like the Beat It and a few others where it's like it's funny with the clip and everything, but it's one of the things where you like, okay, you listen to it maybe like once or whatever, and then
with the whole
it might be
context
just
around
listen,
it.
to original. But obviously that's a little bit different because he would take famous songs and but I'm just not. Yeah, the joke songs in general.
Yeah. One good thing, I think, what people say about Swedish song, and I agree, and I came to see it sort of more and more as the time progressed this season, is that it's a jokey song, but they're making fun of themselves and sort of in a sort of quite a positive way, not being mean to something else or so on. And that I think people kind of resonate with, and they're quite good at what they do. Clearly, they're a good sort of comedy trio. It's quite fun, entertaining, easy to listen. So I kind of came to like it more and more. And I think initially it wasn't even our combined top 10, and now it is in our combined top 10. Just because initially I was like, well, if Estonia sent this song, it's not winning for sure. But I thought that it's like a Swedish effect almost, and the fandom being really hyped about like a song.
What about our Baltic neighbors?
Latvia and Estonia?
So Estonia is doing really well, and they're sending Tommy Cash, who is
in the odds.
Probably their best known artist
Globally?
from Estonia.
Yeah.
Right. So they're 9th in the odds, and
they're sending a jokey song actually.
Yeah, they're sending a jokey song,
but it's a bit unclear on who they're making fun of exactly.
Probably Italians,
not
but
themselves.
Also Eurovision. Generally.
Yeah.
And then Latvia, actually, we really like Latvia because it's very like folky, kind of fairy-like performance, but it's not doing well in the odds at all.
It's like very, very bottom.
33rd.
But it's such a nice performance, like such mesmerism. I just don't understand how it. Like it's such a quality. We'll show it offline because we don't have much more time, but it's crazy.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks very much for your input today, insights.
Not as good as previous time. Right?
Well, we'll see. You may predict it right. Maybe the bookies are wrong. Yes, if
let's
anyone
go,
wants to bet,
let's go
this
catharsis.
This is not an ad to bet, but cool. Thanks very much, guys, and thanks for the viewers and listeners. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment if you disagree with the opinions or if you agree with the opinions. We are waiting to hear your views. And tune in next week as well. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.